Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Hi, welcome.
We are delighted to have you here. You guys, this is such a fun episode. The first of its kind.
The first of its kind.
We've been talking about doing this for a handful of months, and it's just it's a puzzle, and we had to put all the pieces in place before we could actually do it, and today's the day. I don't want to... Okay, well, all I'm going to tell you up front is that today's episode features you, the listener.
You, the listener.
Yeah, based on messages you left us. That's all I'm going to say for right now. But it's really, really fun. So some of you guys are about to hear your voice and your question/comment and our response to it in just a minute. And that is fun because we love you. First of all, though, on our end of life, it's spring break here in Texas.
It is.
You're still in spring break life because you have kids in school.
I have kids in school.
Yeah. What are you doing? Or are you doing something?
Yeah, tomorrow maybe. Mm-hmm. At some point we're driving to Colorado.
It's my favorite.
My niece plays lacrosse for Colorado Mesa, so we're going to go up and watch her play.
Gosh.
So, and we drive everywhere.
Yep.
And driving to Grand Junction.
At the far western edge of Colorado.
To watch a lacrosse game seems reasonable to us.
Sure it does. Are all four sons coming?
No.
Yeah, I didn't figure.
Two
going?
are working. Mm-hmm. Youngers are coming.
Okay.
So.
Listen, when you have done a 38-hour road trip with four boys in the car, and then you just go down to two, piece of cake.
Yeah.
Piece of cake. Who drives?
Brad mostly.
Okay.
I'll take a leg.
Which is how long for you?
2 hours. He takes a nap and then he drives again. I've done 12 hours alone quite a few times.
Yeah.
If it's just me and the kids, but if he's in the car, he wants to drive.
And you're just a kept woman, just a little lady in the passenger seat.
I believe we have 4 books to read.
Oh yeah.
Next week, and so that's what I'll do.
Oh my God, that is so true. 'Cause you should know, listener, that we research all of our guests and their books and their incredible things that they're doing in the world. So yeah, we've got a bunch coming up. Mm-hmm. That'll keep you busy.
So that's what I'm going to do. Go to Colorado. It's colder. It's still...
In a good way.
Yeah, it's cold, and so we're not camping. And I'm going to probably stay in town and read.
Oh my God.
So I'm happy about it.
That's my kind of trip.
What are you doing? You do not have kids in school anymore.
That's correct. I had to remember that it's spring break.
Yeah.
It wasn't even on my radar. And, Remy's at her GAP program right now. So, and Ben is, I don't know what everybody's doing anymore. I'm not in charge of their calendars and their lives. And so my sister-in-law, Sarah, was just texting last week and she goes, does anybody want to go? Should we rent a lake house on LBJ for 3 days for spring break? And I was like, yes. The answer is yes. As you know, that's where we had our lake house.
I know.
For all those years. It's I know every nook and cranny.
Yes.
Of LBJ all around Kingsland, all the way up, every nook and cranny.
Every sandbar.
Even the one that unfortunately came to us because of the flood.
Right.
Do you remember about that one?
I do.
Real sad about the flood, and how many homes it ruined. But the upside was it left a sandbar in the dead center of the lake/river, as my friend Tara always reminds me, it's not a lake.
It's not a lake.
And all these boats, we would just pull the boat up to it and just sort of beach it right there in the middle of the lake river.
Yeah, I'm aware.
I know.
I was there.
I know. Do you think it's still there?
Probably.
Yeah, right?
We haven't had a flood, have we?
Well, I don't think that we have, but I haven't been out there in 4 years? Mm-hmm. So I have summoned the boyfriend and I was like, we're going to have a family lake house. So what time can I pick you up from the airport?
Nice.
Yeah. And it just kind of happened to work out because you're gone. So we didn't have podcast scheduled.
Oh, yeah.
Because normally if a family member called and said, hey, any chance you can take off just 2 weekdays next week? The answer would be never.
Right.
I would be like, well, I guess let me just try to move these 100 things on my calendar. But like, you're gone.
I bailed. So.
You bailed first. I'm like, well, since Amy's phoning in her job, I mean, I guess we both can. Super excited about that. Well, listen up, you guys. Let me tell you about this episode. We are taking a break from our normal format, which we love. We love interviewing all these like superstars. But if you've been listening lately to our last handful of episodes, we have been asking for you, like our listeners, to leave us messages over at jenhatmaker.com. It's under the podcast tab, and there's like a send voicemail or leave a voicemail or something. It's going to seem obvious button. And we've been asking for your stuff, like little stories related to segments we've been doing, or your response to episodes we've been hosting, or conversations we've been having. And it's been fun going through your messages. So, as promised, we're going to share some of our favorites today from you and now to you. So, I'm looking forward to this.
Yes, very much. I've loved listening to them. Pepper's been sending us some, and they've run the gamut from like tender and vulnerable to hysterical,
Exactly right.
not appropriate for the podcast.
Which we encourage.
Yes, please, for our sake, keep those coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've all been great.
They've all been great. And so we're gonna share some with you right now. So here is our first voicemail. Now, this listener was anonymous and did not leave her name, but this was her response on having no more dams to give.
Okay, I have 0 dams to give about making decisions about what I look like based on what's appropriate, in air quotes, appropriate for my age and my size. I am a fat girl. I am 53 years old, and I will wear vertical stripes, large florals, bright colors, but whatever. Just stuff that is, quote, too young for me. I don't care. We need to wear what we feel comfortable in, what we feel pretty in, what suits our style and our personality. There aren't any rules. I don't care what anyone thinks about whether I should or shouldn't be looking a certain way. No dams to give about that.
We love her. I like how she said, look, I can't care about what you think about my thighs.
Yeah.
Say less, ma'am. What are your thoughts on this? I think I know your thoughts.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I'm completely on board. About the confidence in being secure enough to say, I'm going to wear what I want.
That's right.
Obviously, I have gone that direction as well. Although I think a lot of times I say, because I don't care, that's not true. I, years ago, became comfortable with my outside matching my inside. So if I feel bad, I don't mind not looking great.
Great.
But I do care. Like
Sure.
My goal is to not call attention to myself. So if I'm going to a place where people are dressed and have red lipstick on, I will try to blend in.
Yes. Here's what's making me laugh. So our producer is Pepper, you guys. And so he works a lot on our scripting and our interview guides, and just particularly something like this that's so like tech heavy. Anyway, on this piece of our guide for this episode, on this particular voicemail, he wrote possible talking points: Amy's black uniform. And I would like those of you looking at us on YouTube to take a notice here. She's in black from head to toe. And next to it, it says, Jen's abiding love for graphic tees. And I'm literally wearing a shirt that says El Jefe right now, the boss. Like, we didn't try to fit into his stereotype of us. We just are the stereotype.
We are.
I love the confidence. That is what I love. And also, as somebody who, I feel like I'm getting jerked around by all the trends that keep coming and going, and I get so confused by it. Like, okay, here's a premier example. I've been asking the internet for some time to help me figure out what to do with the socks. There's a new way to do socks. No, there just is. There's a new way to do socks, apparently, particularly with sneakers.
What do you mean?
Oh, yeah. See, this is a great question you're asking. Like, so, sneakers onboarded into the world. We're like, hooray. Hooray for it. And we would wear what makes sense, like no-shows. Do you know what I'm saying? Like just little ankle, whatever these socks are that I have on right now.
That's what I wear.
No-shows.
Yeah.
That's just what that's just what it was. And to me, that's what looks cute too, to this day. And then all of a sudden, a new sock situation presented itself. Like this is maybe, I don't know, I'm always behind. Maybe it was 2 years ago, and everybody was saying, we don't wear the no-shows anymore. We now wear like socks that come up, like athletic socks. And I was like, so it just cuts into my cankles? That's not cute. I don't need my like leg flesh coming over the top of my sock. That's not pretty. And so I kept asking people to help me know about it, and nobody's good at it. And so this is the problem. This is why I love this message from this particular listener. This is not 1 week ago from Amazon. I ordered the taller socks because I just didn't know. I'm like, well, I'm famously bad at like following the trends and I'm always behind. And so maybe if this is the thing. And so I got like taller white socks to go with my sneakers, which I wear all the time. And I don't remember what I was doing. I think I was just running errands. And I put on leggings. And then I put on the tall socks and my sneakers. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I burst out laughing. I was like, you look ridiculous. Ridiculous. And like she said, I don't care what anybody says. I took them right off.
Yes.
Immediately off. I put on my like little no-shows and I'm just like, I will do what I want with my socks. So this is it, man. If you're looking, look, this is it, YouTube.
Yeah.
You will see my naked ankles. You will see them. And that's just all there is to it. So
when I get really frustrated when I feel bad about not caring more, I remember that scene from Devil Wears Prada where she's like, you think you don't care and you're cerulean blue.
Sure.
And I don't disparage people who really do care about fashion.
I don't either. And sometimes I do.
At all. Sometimes. But the amount of days we have wasted in our life trying to keep up with the trends and then trying to buy sustainable, but also the trends change too fast.
That's all true.
I can't.
And the size of our bodies.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just what year is it? That depends on what size I wear. But also, like, for people that absolutely love fashion and they're like, I love horizontal stripes and I'm not supposed to wear them, but I want to.
Yeah.
Because I love them. We get to live. So if that means that your style is fashion maximalist and you are going to mix and match patterns and you're going to wear whatever length of skirt you damn well feel like and live your life.
Yes. At whatever age you are.
And size.
There's a poem about when I'm an old woman, I'm going to wear purple.
Yeah.
And I used to think, God, I can't wait till I'm an old woman and I can just wear whatever I want, like the giant turquoise necklaces.
Sure.
And then I was like, well, what age is old? How old do you have to be to do what you want?
We're not waiting around for that anymore.
To be your own boss.
We're going to be our own boss.
It was yesterday.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Yes, I fully support this anonymous caller.
Fully support.
Oh my gosh.
I am also just, last note on this, very drawn to people who are clearly doing their own fashion thing. I am intrigued by that. Like when I look at you and I go, oh, this is your deal. This is your point of view. You are going to mix and match this however you feel like. You are going to wear white after Labor Day. You're going to do whatever you want. I like that. I'm drawn to the confidence.
Yes.
I am drawn to the confidence. And also these rules are invented.
It's all made up.
It's made up. So, okay.
It's art. It can be art, but it's also the societal rules are made up.
Correct.
So everybody wear what you want.
Okay. So we say yes to her. All right, you guys, we have the next voicemail, which is from Naomi. And this was her thoughts. Boy, I like this one. On no longer managing other people's emotions. Take a listen.
Hello, Jen and Amy. My name is Naomi. I'm about to turn 50. I have 2 teenage daughters, so definitely in the middle of a big midlife renaissance. The biggest change that I have noticed is 2 years ago, I announced to my family that I would no longer be managing other people's emotions. I grew up thinking that it was my job to make other people happy, and just put so much of my own energy into that effort. And it turns out that's not actually real. So I have been working hard on that through my own work over the last few years, and have just found that there are energies that I am not now spending on that I can spend doing other things, which has been wonderful. It comes with some hard too, of course, but it really has been a deep relief to allow other people to have that experience. Thank you so much.
A million thoughts about that.
Oof. You're way better at this than I am, so you go first.
I don't know that I am. I know that I am trying. This is the epitome of codependency work.
Yes.
So this has been one of my heaviest lists for the last almost 5 years. This reminds me, first of all, listener, if you would like, if your head just about nodded off your shoulders, like somebody help me to go to there, you should 100% go back and listen to the episode on the show with Melody Betty, who wrote the Bible. She wrote Codependent No More, and she is an excellent resource for this idea, as is Mel Robbins, who we just had on recently.
Yeah.
This is essentially the crux of her theory as well. Let them. Let them feel how they feel. Let them be pissed. Let them be mad. Let them be sad. Let the chips fall where they actually may. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this?
It's a lifelong goal. I think everybody should strive towards this. It's so much work to even recognize it.
Yes, it is.
Like that alone is some really heavy lifting.
Yeah.
To realize that that's your pattern. And I have done a lot of work in letting people make their own decisions. Like the past 5 years, sort of understanding they're going to be their own people. They're going to find their own path. Like when they're this age, teens and older, you really transition from parenting like a cop to parenting like a coach, and then you're a consultant.
Yep.
But I have not mastered really at all the managing emotions. We talk about the importance of emotions and mental health, and always talk about Brené's Atlas of the Heart book. But my spidey senses know when anyone is a little unstable. And so every single day, at least twice, when someone walks in the room, I say, "What's wrong?" I'm just still on high alert for something going wrong.
Totally. And it's tricky because the letting the kids make their own decisions is like the bones. But letting them manage their own emotions is all the soft tissue, and it is much harder. Because for me, I don't know how to suss it out exactly, but whether it was like the narrative we received, the internal overdeveloped sense of responsibility I just walk around with, or what I kind of see in my peers and sideways, I have always attached caring. See, I'm already soft selling it. Feeling responsible for other people's happiness shapeshifts as love. So like the message that I tell myself is, this is being loving.
Obviously.
I love you.
Right.
Therefore, I don't want you to feel disappointed. I love you. Therefore, I don't want you to feel discouraged. Or in some cases, it's hard for me to watch you experience the consequences of your own decisions. Or just regular old run-of-the-mill discomfort. You're uncomfortable. You've hit a spot, then it's rubbing, and you don't know how to manage your own discomfort. And rather than just letting you work it out, I want to come in with whatever solutions. I want to talk it to damn death. I think I have talked to my kids till their ears bleed sometimes.
Yes.
This is the thing. And it's so funny, even when I was listening to Naomi's message, even as like the hugest part of my brain is like, agree. As she is saying it, I also feel that internal tick, like, it feels mean. It feels like I don't care about you having a hard time. I am not a part of your problem solving, you know?
I do. I do not know where the line is on recognizing our family systems, like past mistakes we've made parenting, talking about that in a healthy way, but then also giving them the time to work it out. Like, I want to overanalyze it right now when I've noticed that you're a little off kilter. And when they say nothing's wrong, why do you always ask that? What's wrong with you? Like, then I'm activated because I know something is a little off. But right in the moment, I want them to say, well, my science teacher said this, and I felt this, and like, I want a full.
Yeah, let's do the deep dive.
Yes, in the moment when I feel uncomfortable.
That's right.
So it's
and
just
that's key. It's because we're uncomfortable with their discomfort.
If they can name it, then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm proud of you for working through that and for including me. But a lot of times I go back to feeling responsible because it's something I've done in my parenting 10 years ago. Like that time when you were in 4th grade and I handled this real badly. And so now you can't handle this new thing. So that's why I want to jump in to correct an old wrong instead of just letting it play out.
And that is the thing, like with some of the choices, those are easier for me to let them just roll out. It's the feelings. I am in a very current, very VVV current scenario right now where I had a light bulb came on over my head last week because of reasons, because of scenarios, because of conversations. And I went, Jen, you are not responsible for making this child person be happy. You're not. And no amount of work, effort, onboarding intervention, none of it is going, well, it hasn't worked thus far.
Right.
To make a child happy. And so I literally had to just sit myself down and go, if I have a child who kind of wants to be unhappy and highly disappointed in life, their entire life, that's their choice. That is their choice. That's their choice. I don't want that for that child. I don't want that. I don't, that doesn't make me happy. But I am not, not only am I not responsible for that, I can't do it.
I know.
I can't make it happen out of will. And so I broke up with my effort last week. I really did. I'm
really proud of you.
Okay, well, we'll
That's
see.
a big step.
Yep, we'll see. But I can tell in the way in which I have navigated the last week and a half or whatever it was, I'm like, this was a little bit like a loud quitting. Where it's like, and I loud quit it to the person. I said, this is the end of the road for me. So, we'll see how that goes. But
Let me know.
I'll let you know. It's hard. This is hard.
It is. I think that's why we all need to just keep going back and reading Melody's book.
It's so true. And the thing is, the damnedest thing about it all is, once we finally stop our frantic interventions to manage someone else's life who's grown, who it's their life to manage, that is so ironically often when they finally break through. When they figure out, oh, this is in my hands.
Right, because it turns out everybody has to do their own work, even our kids.
It's just real.
Yeah.
It's just real. Like, even when I used to hear that, I would think, that is probably mostly true. But I am also so powerful an influencer, right, in the lives of my people, that I believe I can bend the arc toward the I really think I think that. Like, if I just get the words right, if I get my speech right, if I find the right environment for this person, if I adjust all the dials so that this person can finally flourish. But if that worked, it would have worked by now.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we're with you, Naomi.
Man.
Let's come back to that. Let's revisit that.
Yes.
Okay, because that's work for me. This is my most current, most challenging work.
I'm going to go back and listen to Naomi's voicemail over and over also.
Just like 2 weeks ago, we had Lisa Congdon on the show, and you will absolutely recognize her art. It is wildly successful.
Right here on my water bottle.
Gosh. Oh,
I really did order it.
You really did. You have for sure seen her stuff in Target. It's very specific. Anyway, I loved having her on, and she's our age, and she told us about loud quitting, which I have not stopped thinking about. So she's like, I'm going to quit whatever I'm going to quit. So whether it's like a pattern, an obligation, in some cases like an unhealthy relationship, it doesn't really matter. Whatever you're going to quit that's no longer serving you, she added the caveat, I'm going to do it loudly. And what she meant by that was clearly. Like, I'm not just going to slip away out a side door. I'm not going to be passive aggressive. I'm not just going to take my hands off it and hope nobody notices my absence. I'm going to say just clearly, this is no longer serving me and these are my boundaries, or this is what I'm going to do from here on out. And I loved it. So in the spirit of loud quitting, you guys, this is a message from listener Mollie.
Oh my word, Jen Hatmaker, loud quitting. I love that so much. So much. Okay, so I am a 54-year-old grown-ass woman, and I am just, coming around to the fact that it is okay to think of myself a little bit here in this world. I am such a people pleaser, and I grew up with all the narratives of you put everyone else's needs before your own, die to self, all the self things. And I mean, it is not an or, it is an and. I can take care of other people and also take care of myself. So I guess what I am loud quitting is all of the noise around me and all of the noise in my head that tells me that thinking of myself is bad and selfish and wrong and not a good thing to do. And I'm also loud quitting trying to navigate and manage for everyone's feelings around that when I, am now setting some healthy boundaries for myself and I am speaking my truth and I'm just not going to worry about all the things that other people might think about that. I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I think my opinions and my thoughts matter too. So, yes, loud quitting, all of that. Thank you, Jen Hatmaker.
This is similar. This is ancillary conversation that apparently we're all having right now. I appreciate what this is an inside job. The way that Mollie has set this up, like she's talking not just about mattering, and being a factor that counts, it matters in her own life, but not feeling guilty about that.
Yes. Which those are two very distinct things.
That's right. Exactly. That sense of I'm doing something wrong.
Right. And I think a key part of that is giving up on the duality. Like it's not either or.
Totally.
It is yes and. You can do both. And we've heard our whole lives put the air mask, the oxygen mask on yourself, but not really believed it. But it turns out it's true. And we can do both.
It is true. We can do both. That is just, this is not binary. It does not mean when a woman in any way prioritizes her feelings about any given thing or how something affects her or even, hell, her preferences, what she wants, like what she is craving, that you either get to be that person or you get to be the person who absolutely puts her entire psyche on a top shelf to get to when the last kid leaves the house.
Right.
That's just crazy.
How did we get here?
Yeah, I know. How did we get here is true. And I think that I wonder if there are kind of two buckets for how women tend to feel about this, which is, I think I'm not projecting my own life into this, what I'm about to say. But there's this one bucket where we don't ever feel the right to tell people how something is affecting us. Like, your behavior or your choices affect me like this, and I don't like it. Or this scenario that you are in and the way in which our dynamic is working is creating anxiety for me, or I don't want to spend my time like this, or whatever. There's this idea of like being affected in relationship. And then there's this second bucket of, are we allowed to want some things? That's different. That's like, I want to do some things that are fun for me. I want my opinions and my preferences to factor in. I don't always want to make choices that you guys all want.
Yeah.
You know, I've got my own deal going on, and whether that's like career or it's just like preferences, things that we love, things that we enjoy, ways in which we're going to spend our time. I don't know. I wonder if there are two things and they both matter.
They both matter, and we've been taught that neither one of them is okay to demand or take. And I think also the issue of self-care and self-comfort. I learned the difference between those two from Sarah Bessie.
Oh, that's right.
And at the time, I used it as sort of reinforcement that self-care is necessary and needed in order to continue on. But recently I've realized self-comfort is fine too. Like, it doesn't always have to have a purpose. It could just be something you like doing, and we can take the time to do that.
That's right.
So yes, there's a lot of different facets to it. And we just, I guess, have absorbed the message that none of it's okay.
I know, exactly. I had a hard conversation recently with a person in my life whose practice with me is to store up every single negative thought, experience, opinion, or whatever about's been happening, and to make it into like a huge negativity mountain. And then she brings that and puts every pound of it on me without any break in the fog. Just, I am the repository for her bad feelings about everything in the world. And because I felt responsible to be like a safe place or whatever the people say, a good listener, a safe friend, whatever, I just let that go on for a really long time until I realized when this person's name pops up in my phone, I go cold chills. Like, no, I don't want to listen to a voicemail. I don't want to see what the text says. I don't want to have a phone call. And so I had this conversation where I just said, the imbalance here is I can't do it anymore. I understand that things are hard and things aren't going the way that you wanted them to, or you're mad or you're disappointed or whatever. And I want to be able to have those conversations with you. But if there's never any break in the deluge, if you don't also share with me what's going right, what's going good, and also there's no reciprocity here, I cannot do this anymore. And so I won't do it. And it was a very challenging conversation.
Goodness.
That I'm still kind of, we'll see how it shakes out. It's
Yeah,
a really
but
hard
necessary.
boundary.
Like, yes, in order to set these healthy boundaries, we have to do so much work on the front end of that.
That's just it.
And to prioritizing our own mental health, physical health, time management is not inherently selfish.
That's it. That's the crux. That's not being mean, and it's not being selfish. It is being healthy. So we're going to have to flip that switch. Right?
And from a healthy place, we can continue to be so nurturing.
Of course.
Like vulnerable with our friends. Like
two things can be true at once.
Manage our time even better.
That's right. That does not mean if I'm going to put a boundary into sort of a poisonous scenario that is like draining and exhaustive and repetitive, because everybody has a bad season. So we never like fault a relationship that's had a short spell.
Yeah.
All of us go in the gutter where we just zap everybody of energy around us until we get, but when that's the story, when that's the through line, it's not mean or bad to say, this is not working for me.
Yeah.
And here's why. Anyways.
Well.
Okay. Well, I say, thank you, Mollie, for loud quitting that. And obviously we are working on the same exact things, in our life. That brings us to Jamie. And here is what Jamie had to say.
Hi, my name's Jamie Cole. I'm 48 and I have 3 children. They are 23, 21, and 16. And the thing that I cannot give any damns about, I just can't, I have none left, none to give, is being the parent of an athlete. I don't want to go to the parent meeting. I don't need the lecture about my children and their strengths. I have done this, and shock and awe, neither one of my other 2 are D1 athletes.
Correct.
I want to sign up on my one little spot for the 3 hours that I have to volunteer, and that's it. You're 16, go to the meeting, get the remind, get the this, you find out about that, and learn about the program, and do whatever, and sign me up for the least amount of things I have to be signed up for, because I have 0 space left for hearing about the program that the school is building and how it's going to benefit my child. And I am not making bags full of treats. No more treats, no more school colored treats. I'm not cooking meals. I'm not braiding hairs. You're 16, you're a big old boy. Get out there, run. Get in your little car and go to that parent meeting, and you be a track star, and I will be there and wear the sparkly Jay's mom shirt, but I will not, cannot give a damn any longer about being a sports parent. Thanks.
Oh my gosh. It's like she came from the school of hard knocks staffed by Jana King.
Yes.
Who passed it on to me. This was me. I feel so kindred to Jamie right now.
And you had athletes.
I sure did. They all were in their little things, and it is genuinely true that the parent meetings, the boosters, the team moms, the varsity soccer Facebook mom group, it's all endless. And when I used to look at the level in which some of my lady peers were invested in sophomore volleyball, I'm like, I was born on a completely different planet than this.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we went to every game. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't care about my kids' lives, but we went to all the things, and they had their cleats, and they had their bag, and they had it all. They had it all. And they had the practice, and they had the leagues, and they had the coaches. We did all that stuff, but like this, what she's saying right now, can you come to a meeting, and we're going to talk about how we're going to rebuild the program next year? I will not come to the meeting.
No, I don't. That's not really the parents' work, is it?
It's not mine.
I thought I was conflicted on this. I'm not, but
What do you think? What were you thinking you're conflicted on?
my kids didn't play team sports.
Okay.
They're athletic, but they do solo things.
Yeah.
But my nieces play lacrosse at a really high level. Like they won state 2 years ago. My sister is the team mom this year.
Okay.
My brother-in-law is helping to coach. They put so much into it. But I think the issue is when everybody is expected to come to every meeting, and then they think that they can give their opinion about everything for the rest of the season.
It's like too many team moms.
That's too much. Like our programs need the volunteers.
Of course.
Sign up to bring the snacks. But don't disparage the ones who are willing to put in an extra 20 hours a week.
I see what you're saying.
But also keep your opinions to yourself. I think there's a fine line. Be supportive, but if you don't like something, it's not okay to go on the parent Facebook page and spend 4 days complaining about such and such at last weekend's game.
Yes, exactly.
I think everyone is
That's
so
the tipping point.
emotionally invested in the whole thing instead of just being supportive of their kiddo,
Yeah.
giving their kid what they need.
And the team,
Yeah.
we'll do the thing. We'll do that. I'll do my hours in the concession stand. You know,
Right.
we're going to keep the program on the tracks for sure. So, to your point, we don't want to hear the mega team moms hear this going, well, shit, who's going to do it then?
Right.
Some people are built for this.
So good at it.
They're built for it.
And we need them. But everyone else needs to,
Have less dams.
yes,
Just have some less dams.
for sure.
And what made me laugh that Jamie said, which is the truest thing that's ever been said, is that we started getting messages about how crucial certain leagues, certain teams, certain sports equipment brands, certain summer travel leagues, etc., were going to be to the success of our second grade athletes' future. I mean, this is the only path. They either get in club baseball by third grade, or they can F off. I mean, I guess they can just play in the backyard with the neighbor's kid. And we 100%, I remember hearing all this. This is all just so important for their athletic success. Guess what, guys? Y'all's kids are not going to go play in college. They're not going to be in the NFL. They are not going to be in the National Hockey League. They are not going to play for the New York Yankees. They're not doing it, okay? Most of them are not even going to play at their D3 college up the street, okay? They're just not. It is I wish I had the numbers in front of me. I didn't realize I was going to catch feelings about this, but the percentages of high school and younger athletes that go on to college sports in any capacity, on any level, is so T90. And then of those college kids, the ones that go into pro sports is like 0. So everybody
Relax, especially with the elementary. And in Texas, the system is set up so you really do have to play club sports in order to make your high school team. But we chose not to do that when they were young. And so mine that did go to public school actually didn't have an option to do high school sports because they were incoming with 0 experience as freshmen. And the coaches were like, sorry.
Yeah.
No.
Or a lot of schools have a C team. That's what it's there for. It's for the kids who are like, I started baseball this year as a 9th grader for the first time. Where can I play? And they're like, C team on the bench. All right. Okay. Go knock yourself out, man.
If your kid loves sports, great.
Yeah.
But the pressure we put on everybody, including the kids, when they're 7.
And the referees and the umpires, when I see a deranged baseball parent of a 3rd grader screaming until their neck veins pop out at the volunteer high school umpire, I could just about die. Calm down.
I know.
Everybody calm down. Now, we've taken a leap into all sports, and I see that we have. But the point remains. It is okay to come down a couple of notches on how invested we are, particularly at the high school level. And that's what she's talking about. She's got a 16-year-old. We're not talking about a 6-year-old who needs to drive himself to practice. Like, figure it out. I hope you enjoy your sports program.
Yep.
I'll do my thing and I'll cheer for you. And that's about as far as my involvement's going. And I co-sign for sure. Let's do one more. This is from Laura.
Hi, Jen. My name is Laura. I live in Alabama. Roll Tide to Tyler. So I just finished a week at work. I'm home lying in the sun and enjoyed listening to your episode with Erin Hicks Moon. I'm a huge fan of hers. She has really been life-changing, as have you. I have followed you for many years. So I heard your request for feedback about glow ups in middle age. And I was like, yeah, that's me. So I got divorced at 37 and I picked a good one right out of the gate, just like you said. And my husband and I have now, we're pushing year number 17 together. So yeah, he is very special. And I have a wonderful part 2 of my life. But at age 55, I launched my own private practice as a therapist. And I'm 6 months in. It's really hard. I mean, it is really hard. Therapy is easy. The business admin work is what is really challenging. But I realized that for the first time in my life, I wasn't responsible for dinner for people. I have 2 incredible daughters, but they're adults. They take care of themselves, and I'm at a point in my life where I can focus on my career for the first time ever. So it is challenging, but it's exciting, and actually hearing your perspective today has given me a boost that I needed. It's given me courage. I'm not too old to do this. It's not too late. I'm not too tired. Yes, it's hard, but that's okay because I'm really smart and I'm really talented and I really care a lot about people in my community. So I'm going to make this work. And I am 56 now, and wow, life is good. God is good. My husband is good. And I appreciate words of wisdom from other women like you. Thanks, Jen.
I love her. I completely love that. That also reminds me of part of the conversation we had with Lisa Congdon, who didn't start really her art career till almost 40.
Right.
And even then, she built for years before it like took off and caught. And I don't know. I know we've talked about this, but the older we get, the further away old gets. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I don't even know if anything is old anymore. I don't know if anybody's ever old. They just die. You know? Like,
Right.
and we're at our smartest right now. Like, we are at our best. I almost feel like everybody should start a new huge career or adventure or path in their 50s.
Or at least consider it. Figure out what you want to do. And like she said, even if it's hard, that's okay.
Yeah, we're smart. We can figure things out.
It's worth it.
I remember laughing so hard at Jenny. This is our friend. And this is a decade ago. And she was coming up on 50, a couple years away from it. And I remember her saying, I'm afraid to turn 50 because I feel like I won't be able to learn anymore. She's like, I just think my brain is dumb, and then it's going to get dumber, and then it's just going to be like out of battery. Like, I don't think I'll be able to learn anything. And I remember at the time she was very specifically wanting to learn another language. She was wanting to learn Spanish, and she was trying to decide if she was going to invest in some of the software, because she's like, I don't think I can learn it.
Oh,
I'm like, we can learn.
yes.
We are still capable of learning. Our brains will still learn things.
Well, yes. I think we have an upcoming interview with someone specifically about menopause and how sometimes our brains
Get foggy.
get real foggy.
That is true. Hormone related.
Yes, but we can get past that.
That's right. It's not permanent.
It's not permanent. It feels like it in the moment.
Yeah.
But no, you can start something at 60 or 70
100%.
or 80.
I honestly think you can. I've got my eyes trained toward women ahead of us now. I'm paying attention to them, women that are in the spotlight and that aren't. But, you know, I'm always like, I've got my eye like on Jane Fonda. Hey, Siri, how old is Jane Fonda?
Sorry, something went wrong.
I'm sorry. Is it because it's asking your phone too?
Maybe.
Maybe it's because it's asking my computer. Well, guess what? I have a computer in my hands. Let me just look. 87.
Oh my gosh, no.
She's 87. She's beautiful. She's doing new things in her career. She's smart, funny, and interesting. I'm like, oh, there's no such thing as old.
There's no such thing as too old.
There's no such thing as too old. And I love, like, based on what Laura said on her message here, that you can do something new even if you're like, I am scared of this. Or I don't know, because she delineated between her new work. She's like, I love the therapy part. The business admin part is kicking my ass. And I get that completely. You know, I'm a creative and I'm a big picture. You and I know this. When I get in the minutia of business, I'm stressed. That's where my anxiety comes in. You're the opposite. You like the minutia. The minutia of businesses, that is your comfort zone. And so I like how she said, this part I love, this part is hard, but I'm doing it.
And it's worth it.
It's worth it. I'm learning it.
And she said, like, I'm smart. I'm capable.
That's it.
Like, that's another thing that we're not used to being allowed to say.
That is so true, because that is like not humble for women.
No.
Men say it all the time. Men just walk around with their chests out, you know?
It sounds like it's a complete aside, but not. A couple of weeks ago, there was the SNL 50th.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like all the really old skits. And so we were talking to our kids about Stuart Smalley.
Sure. Classic.
But it seemed okay. It was funny for a man to be looking in the mirror and doing that.
Yeah.
But you really don't see women modeling that behavior. But there's no reason why we shouldn't. Every day,
I know.
repeat what Laura said.
That's so true. And what I notice in a community of women is that we tend to be really good at saying that to each other. Like, really good. You can do this. Like, you are going to kill this. You are perfect for this. Like, we pretty clearly see each other's capacity and what we are capable of, and we're really good cheerleaders. The rub is turning that internal, I think, to go, you just did it though, Amy. Like, you just did. You are not, what are we, 9 months into saying this thing, this is so outside of my comfort zone, my experience, and my industry, and I think I can do it. See, now you have to practice what you just preached.
You're right.
Because I see you doing this with your body, like, you did. You did.
I think you need two elements. I think you need your people that you trust around you cheerleading and saying like, hey, I see this in you. And then you have to be able to accept that.
Yes.
And own it and then follow through.
Yeah.
So yes.
It. And then what happens is we get there and go, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I learned it. It's not exactly the same, but when I got divorced and then had to be overnight in charge of every single line item of life, every single thing, stuff that I had never even put a hand to, I just remember just thinking, I can't do it. I just cannot learn this much. There's too much to learn. I'm too behind. I can't process all this. I can't figure this all out. But then you just do.
You do.
You just do. And then one day you're like, I'm doing it. I learned it. It wasn't beyond me. And so we love hearing stories like Laura's. She's 56.
Yeah.
And she just started her practice. And never too late, never too old, never too wrong for the job description, never too simple, never too smart. There's just, those limits are self-imposed.
They are.
And it's up to us to say, I don't believe that story anymore.
And we don't have to have a binary approach to thinking negatively about how we spent our time before this. Like, there was a time and a season to focus on our kids when they were young.
Right.
Like, they did need us.
Of
like,
course.
Our households needed a CEO. But when we're at this point where they can take care of themselves and they're launching, then we can look at the space in front of us.
That's so true. Gavin and Danielle were here this week and they spent the night. And by the way, if you missed it, they're giving me a grandson. So, I can't. I'm in the process of creating their suite, so they'll stay here more. But really, I just told them, I'm sorry to tell you, you have 6 months to be who you are, and 6 months from now, you are the baby's parents. That's who you are, and we will be like, when are you bringing us our baby? I just remember when this happened with my mom when I had Gavin. Then all of a sudden, I was Gavin's mom. Anyway, I digress. They were here. And I'm only 4-5 weeks into having a genuinely empty house. Mm-hmm. And they were like, how's it going? Like, how does it feel? And I'm like, it felt one way the first week, which was kind of like, you won't know this because you homeschooled. There's this feeling the first week of school when all your kids leave your home and they go to their classrooms. Mm-hmm. And you are just on top of the world. And you have this you're like, this is who I am now. I'm a person who does all her chores on time. I'm a person who meal plans. I am now a person who's going to be strangely organized from here on out. It's just like the euphoria is so intense and you're just very unrealistic about your actual life. That's how this first week for me felt as well. And but I told them like it kind of settled a little and parts of that awesomeness has stuck. But I'm getting to my point here that has to do with this exact message from Laura. I noticed that when my work is done for the day, let's just say more or less at 5, more or less. Sometimes I work longer than that, sometimes a little bit less, but more or less. I have so much more time and space into my life that I didn't even really account for. It's not like the kids just took up a lot of nighttime space energy, just with their bodies. Just their bodies in the home. I'm cooking dinner, we're eating, it's all the conversations they've stored up. It's, can you with this and with that? You know, just whatever it was, all of a sudden it's bedtime. And we didn't even really do anything. It's just like this family life. Without them in the house, I told the kids, I'm like, I'm just a sconce bored. I've done everything. I've done all my chores. There's nothing left to do. And so I'm like, to Laura's point, and what you just said, our family takes up a lot of energy in a good way. Yeah. We chose that. We made them. We made a family. But there does come a season of life. Believe it or not, you guys, if you're not there yet, they move out and you go, is this how many hours have always been in a day?
It's discombobulating.
It truly is. I am like, maybe I could be an exercise person. I mean, I'm not going to be crazy, but I'm just like, I need something to do in the night hours. What am I going to do? I've read so many books in the last 5 weeks, which is great. That's a good use of my brain space. But anyhow, my point is, it is never too late. And guess what? We're only getting more time and more energy put back into our life equation as our roles are transitioning forward. So what a great time to dream a new dream.
We have a guest coming up. I read her book, won't say who, but she describes this feeling as like if you're on a hike and you're on a path in the forest with the trees around you, and then you come to a meadow. Just taking the time to pause and look and realizing you don't have to stay on the path you were on because you've got this huge clearing in front of you.
Oh, that's good. I haven't got to that part yet.
And you can go your own way.
I like that.
I really love the imagery of it.
I do too. That's going to be a good interview. I cannot wait for that one. You guys, you're not going to believe all the guests we have coming up. Really just even in the next 2 weeks that we're doing all the recordings. I'm like, oh, no big deal. Oh my gosh, jokes. Okay, so hey, thanks for leaving us messages, you guys. We love to hear from you, period. But I also actually like hearing your voices. I mean, this podcast is just our voices ad nauseum, and so it's nice to hear you talk. And thanks for sharing. And so, listen up. What do you have to tell us? You guys, send us a voicemail. Go over to jenhatmaker.com under the podcast tab and you'll see it. Send voicemail button. It really is that simple. Give us a minute message or so, and you can either let us know something that you were thinking about after you heard a specific episode or interview. It could be one of the conversations we've been having. It can be something you're learning kind of right here in your stage of life. And we are loving them. And we're going to have more episodes like this that are just listener submissions only. And I look forward to every single one of them.
Turns out y'all are smart and funny and provide excellent content for us to talk about.
When she's like, you go to the parent meeting and learn about the program. I'm like, same. Let me know if there's something I need to do, but sit there next to the other moms. You're funny and good. It was such a great listening community. So, okay. Thanks for joining us today. And let me just say thank you to Awesome Anonymous, Naomi, Mollie, Jamie, and Laura for your questions. Delighted to know you. You guys have a great week. Hey, by the way, if you have not already subscribed to the For the Love podcast, today's the day, man. Just wherever you listen to them, search it in the search bar and just hit either follow or add the little plus sign, and that just automatically subscribes you to the show, and it'll create a little library for you of every single episode. You'll never miss one. That's literally how I follow every podcast that I love. Otherwise, I'd forget to go find them. So do that if you haven't already, because we really love to be in your AirPods. Or also, we want to say big love to our YouTube watchers. We video record every single podcast, us and our guest. And I mean, that's just the way we experience it. We're always getting to look right at our guest. And so I always feel like I want you to see that too. So you can see their faces and their body language and their beautiful backgrounds.
Yeah.
So that's over on my YouTube channel if you would like to ever watch a podcast that you loved to listen to. All right, that's it. That's it from you?
That's it.
Okay, you guys. See you next week.
Bye.